is Richard Burson. I'm the Senior Manager for Digital Reporting at IFRAC. And today I'm going to show you how we can tag an ESRS reporting with the digital ESRS Set 1 XBRL taxonomy. If you don't know yet what an XBRL taxonomy is, please go to our ifrac.org webpage. Check out the other videos that we have uploaded or have a look at the materials that we provide under the sustainability reporting menu and on the web page. Before we actually start, I would like to give a quick disclaimer. This digital tagging shown in this video is not endorsed or reviewed by the company itself. So actually, I'm just using a random report available now, published by some already by some companies based on the ESRS, European Sustainability Reporting Standards. And in this case, I'm going to use the Maersk report from the Danish company Maersk, and probably known by many viewers in terms of their container shipping. And I'm using their annual report 2024 published as a PDF on their webpage. And for sure, the tagging that I will do will be incomplete and even wrong. Very simply, right? Because I'm just showing or illustrating how it works in general. I did not carefully review, and for sure I will also do some mistakes. But nevertheless, I think the demonstration clearly helps to identify, to estimate the effort of tagging, and this is very useful, I guess. So we would like to educate, of course, all stakeholders on how the digital tagging can be done and demystify that it's a lot of effort. Keep in mind that the digital XBRL taxonomy I'm using, it has not been adopted yet by ESMA, the European Securities Market Authority, and the European Commission. So it's just using the IFRAC taxonomy. ESMA has just started a public consultation on how and when to adopt the IFRAC XBRL taxonomy. But nevertheless, the proposal they made is still the same taxonomy, so it definitely makes sense to use that one. The opinions expressed in this video do not represent any views of the IFRAC Sustainability Reporting Board or Sustainable Reporting Technical Expert Group. It's just my opinion, being IFRAC Secretariat. We do not recommend any specific process for the preparation of digital ESRS statements. The way how I'm going to show and demonstrate how the digital tagging works is actually one of the worst ways of doing it, because it actually means that you can only start once you have the final, or mostly start when you have the final PDF document with a full report. There are many built-in processes, reporting processes, that actually allow to start earlier with the tagging as part of the integrated reporting process, and not just being a last minute tagging before publication. So keep in mind when viewing this, but the principle is of course similar. I know that there are other solutions on the market now, which for instance allow to have CSRD reports being prepared by supporting with the data collection and IRO materiality assessment. And of course, those tools might take advantage of the digital XBRL taxonomy and embed the tagging already in the preparation process. So such tagging, which I'm going to demonstrate now, might not even be needed then. We are not, IFRAC and the Secretariat do not recommend any specific tagging software. However, in order to show some tagging, we need to use some software. That's why I'm going to use one. And if you look for an XBRL tagging software, then you can look at the list provided by software.xbrl.org. It's a list of officially certified software tools. However, there might also be other software and service providers available. Any process and any software that leads to a compliant and valid XBRL document, XBRL report, can in the end be used. It doesn't matter how it's being produced. And now enough of the disclaimer, let's get started. Well, this is the Maersk report. As I said, I just downloaded it from the webpage from Maersk, and it has an integrated sustainability report. As you can see here on the left side, there's a navigation bar actually inside the PDF which is very handy. And when you click on sustainability, it will jump right to page 53, and this is where their disclosures start. They start actually with some disclosures on the basis of preparation, which is already an ESRS data point, ESRS 2. However, I just wanted to quickly show you those pages 56 and following, because it's very important to understand, first of all, incorporation by reference. Some of the disclosures that Maersk did are actually in some other chapters in the report, and this is of course very useful and very important for tagging, because it means you would need to go to each of those pages in order to tag the corresponding disclosures. There's one exception. Information on GOV3 and S116 is provided in the remuneration report, which is a separate PDF document. And this PDF document would need to be tagged separately from this report in order to also digitize the disclosures. However, I'm skipping this step now and just focus on what we have in this document. And what you can see here is the tagging software itself. On the left side, we see the PDF report, which has been converted into XHTML. And on the right side, we see the digital XBRL taxonomy that is reflecting the ESRS disclosure requirements. It comes with a number of elements, as you can see here, and it's showing a technical name, which is a technical identifier for each of the elements. I'm going to hide this one. It's not so much interesting for us today. But the reference is, of course, because it really helps to do the tagging and to find the corresponding element. I also set up some settings, of course, like the company name, the reporting date, the currency, the report language. This is all being set up already, and I added some layers in order to do the multi-tagging of the certain narrative disclosures. I'm going to tag all tags that are obviously easy to tag in this document, all disclosures. We will see at the end what kind of level we will reach with the narrative tagging hierarchy. Good, let's start. We go to the next page, actually. So starting at 53, because we are not going to tag the other parts of the document with the sustainability statements. And yeah, so this page, I would say there is nothing specific to be tagged. Actually, maybe this could be tagged as the description of the business model, but we will skip it for now. Here we can see that it starts with an ESRS disclosure basis for preparation, and this is also in line with the order of the ESRS itself. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to change to level 1 and just say this is the full disclosure about the basis for preparation of that we can find here, and just drag and drop the full text block, level 1 text block tag on this disclosure. As you have seen, I've just done the drag and drop, and this works quite nice and fine. So there's no huge effort for taking the level 1. Okay, let's start reading. So this is just seems to be a paragraph about the general introduction of the consolidation. I think this is what we have here on this side, the scope of the consolidation. As we can see here, we have also some possible values. For instance, this is an individual or consolidated member. And as we can see here, unless otherwise stated, ESG performance data and information included in the sustainability statement are reported based on the same consolidation principles. So first of all, it is a consolidated report. So I'm going to use the consolidation element here. Let me switch to the other layer, consolidation, and I just put basis for preparation is actually a consolidated report. Then regarding the question, if this is actually the same scope of consolidation as in the financial statements, it's not so easy to answer, because it says unless otherwise stated. That actually means that for some data in the report, they have not included the full consolidation scope. And they also provide a few exceptions here, for instance. No, this is actually what they have included, right? It includes consolidated data from the parent company. Assets are included. So this is what they include in their consolidation. They excluded what's not in the operational control. So let's just choose to set the Boolean, the semi-narrative element, on this item scope of the consolidation. And let's choose another layer for that to work. So I'm going to check that this is not the same scope as of the one in the sustainability, in the financial statements. However, there might be other opinions as well valid, because it's I think the company itself would need to decide what to disclose here, if it's a true or false disclosure. Then we have reasons for not why not the same scope of consolidation is used, and I'm just going to tag those paragraphs here with an explanation. Okay, fine. This is actually level +1, that's fine. Undertaking is not required to draw up financial statements. I think it's quite clear that this is not the case, because they do have financial statements in this report as well. And disclosure of subsidiaries undertakings included in the consolidation that are exempted from individual or consolidated statements. It could be potentially one of those that are listed here, but I'm going to skip this XBRL tag as well. Then we have the disclosure if the report covers the sustainability statements, if the reports are covering the upstream and downstream value chain, and I'm going to put this here, and yeah, this works. We have no information, as far as I can see, about the omitting of pieces of information corresponding to intellectual property. We have no option selected here, and I mean the reporting start date, period, reporting end date. This is, we can quite easily skip for now, because this is just basically the reporting date. So I would say this is a initial tagging for this page, and we have covered a number of disclosures already. Good, let's go to the next page, maybe checking what we have here. This is uncertainties and estimates. Seems to be another BP2 disclosure requirement we have reported on here. Yes, this is the significant estimation and or outcome uncertainties according to ESRS 2, paragraph 11 of BP2. And here we have actually a number of different items that we can take. So first of all, we have the matrix item. This is a very long list of all the matrix existing in this report. And then we have information about the source of measurement uncertainties and disclosure of assumptions. And yeah, here what we would need to do is actually we would need to check which of the metrics, exactly which of the metrics in this report are having significant estimations or outcome uncertainties. However, they only provide this high-level overview here, for instance, on scope 1 and scope 3 emission to short-term leases. Then we have upstream transportation and distribution activities, seems to be an estimate, waste estimates, average hours estimated used to calculate the gender pay gap, annual total remuneration estimates. So I'm just going to select a few of those. Let me just do it on this table here. So I just select the text, and then I put this enumeration here. And as you can see here, we have scope 3. And then additionally, we have waste. I think it's waste generated, potentially the total. Then the gender pay gap and the remuneration. Here it's not clear. It says annual total remuneration estimates. I think it's probably related to the annual remuneration ratio. and then we have hours estimated when preparing the lost time incident frequency. So this seems to be like a social disclosure. Let's see if we've got a metric on this one. This is about training hours, but it's not exactly what this is referring to. I think it's rather related to incidents. Lost time incident frequency. I don't feel confident choosing any of those items here, so I will just leave it like this. And yeah, I think we would need to check the disclosure on page 125 in order to understand which metric they are referring to. Maybe we can do that later when we do the social disclosures. We did actually. We checked multiple. So now it's fine. So now we have tagged an enumeration element. We also have, of course, the narrative disclosure here, which we can check in the other layer, information about the sources of uncertainties. Then this is a specific item which actually refers to specific assumptions, approximations, and judgments made. I would actually see if we have certain assumptions, approximation, and judgments made in the topical disclosures themselves, than rather taking this one here, because it might be misleading, right? This is just a high-level overview, and I suppose that Maersk is probably providing more information when they actually disclose their the numbers itself. Okay, on the right side, we see changes affecting ESG performance data. So obviously the new ESRS led to some changes. We also have the changes in preparation and presentation. We can also tag this one here. Should be quite easy to just tag the whole section. And here on governments as well. Yes, this is a continuation, so I've just selected yes for those pages. Well, it seems we are fine on this page. Let's go to the next page. This is, as I said, the incorporation by reference, and we will start to look at this one when we actually tag the Gov1 disclosure requirements. It means we need to pay attention to page 47 in order to check out if they have made the disclosures over there. Then we have no XBRL tag on this disclosure itself in the XBRL taxonomy, because the XBRL tagging itself makes already quite clear when something is incorporated by reference. Because first of all, when it's inside the same document, inside the same file, then it's not a problem at all, because then you just put the corresponding XBRL element on the page and on the disclosure. If it's a different file, then it's of course more challenging. Keep in mind that the ESRS itself says that ESRS 1, that incorporation by reference is possible as long as it follows the same digitization requirements, which means even like the remuneration report here needs to be digitally tagged. But there was we decided in the IFRAC etc. to not include a dedicated incorporation by reference tag for that purpose, because assuming a fully tagged report is just this information already. Good, then we have the disclosure requirements covered. And I think this one actually has a tag in the, like an index, has one in our XBRL taxonomy as well. You can easily check. Disclosure requirements covered by sustainability statements. This is here, IRO 2. I can just maybe select the whole page here, or the whole table. Text block tag, that's fine. And then we also have an enumeration value, so which we can tag here. So I'm just switching the layer here to the level 1, which would actually be more precise. Let me show you how it works in principle. So I can select the same tags and then put the list of disclosure requirements complied with in the sustainability statements, and then I can just go to the list here and just check each and every item that they have reported. For instance, BP2, Gov1, Gov2, Gov4, SPM3, SPM2, and so on. IRO1, IRO2, Gov3, we have seen that as well, and so on. So this is a way how you can just check all the disclosures here. Let me check what they have disclosed in terms of E1. Yes, even E19 is here, E1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, this looks good for the moment. Of course, we would need to continue with the whole list actually to check all the items, but I think it's fine for the moment to just stop here at the E19 to illustrate the principle. Let me also quickly check. Gov5 was there as well, and IRO1, if I'm not mistaken, is there as well. Yeah, just to complete ESRS2 and IRO1. So it seems to be quite a comprehensive list. Great. Then when we go to the next page, we can actually see that this list is continued. So once again, we are just putting the large text block tag around this as a continuation. List of ESRS disclosure requirements. I'm in the wrong layer. Anyway, it's level 1. Select the full page. Yes, I would like to continue. And here again, select the full page. Okay. Yes. This is the one that actually covers the EU data points, and it's an index that shows where those have been disclosed. And you can also tag this one here, disclosure of list of data points that derive from other EU legislation and information about their location. Quickly check if we have one or we have multiple pages as well. So let's go to 61. 60 was the first one. Yeah. 61. The selection now is a bit tricky for this page. I don't know why. Let's continue. Good. Now we can actually start with the tagging of ESRS G1. And when we look at the incorporation by reference, we can see that the G1 is also covered on page 47. So I would propose that we start here, setting the general item, general text block tag on this page, and then go to page 47 to actually tag the details there. You might now wonder why I sometimes tag the headline or sometimes not. There are different options for tagging headlines. In general, I would say the small headlines should potentially be tagged as well. The very large ones, which actually just reflect the name of the disclosure requirement itself. So hence the name of the actual disclosure do not need to be tagged from my point of view. So this is ESG in the light of emerging global trends. Let's check which item we can tag here. This is not about percentages. This is more about a general level 1 tag, right? I would say this is G1, right? We need to be careful. This is ESRS 2, but also G1. So we need to be a bit careful here because I was misleadingly thinking that this is about ESRS 2 Gov1, but it's not, it's G1. So let's skip this and then go actually, because this would be the first one here on checkout page 47. Yes, this is a Gov1 actually. This is the one I was looking for that we have here on the right. And the G1 we will also need to tag, of course. So let's check. This is the corporate governance and the role of the administrative management and supervisory bodies. First of all, we can just put the whole level 1 tag on this page. Should work fine. Purpose. we can clearly see that they have also a number of other more fine granular disclosures on this page. Let's draw the selection. Start from here, maybe here. You can get the full page. Yeah, this one looks good. Okay, first of all, they explain a little bit about the governance structure itself. Let's check what we have in the ESRS 2 here. Board competences and diversity here. I would say this is potentially, let's check the paragraph numberings. This is paragraph 21. Then we have a table here, composition and diversity of the board of directors. This is an interesting one because we have our first table in the report. So we are going to check if we can take some numbers here as well. So far we have only taken the text, and so we can take a table here as well. So let me go to the default layer because I wanted to do that in the default layer. I'm going to select the table only. This is a composition and diversity of board of directors on paragraph 21a. So I'm putting this abstract item here. And now I can actually take more easily the numbers in this table item. So we have the number of executive members here, which is actually this disclosure. Then we have number of non-executive members below, number of employees in the company. This is Gov 21b, information about representation of employees and other workers. So here we have an interesting case because they have actually a number for a narrative disclosure that we have in the XBRL taxonomy. So I'm going to skip this one in this table and just take it in the preview, in the viewer itself. Then we have percentage of independent board members, which is this one. Percentages of women and percentages of men. Let's check if we got any item that we could use for this one. This is a breakdown by male and female. Right. This is percentage of women. So we tag the percent item and then we put a female member here. So this is dimensional tagging, and as you can see, dimensional tagging is not something very magical. It just means you put multiple items from the taxonomy on the same cell. So I'm going to select the male here. Let's quickly validate our report. This seems to be fine. This is good. And we have tagged the numbers here in this case, except for the 21b, which I think we should maybe tag separately here. The number of employees in the company out of the board, I would say, right? This is what they want to convey here. So let's select only this one. And it was about B, paragraph B. Good. Then we have a very convenient hint here in the text itself on each of the paragraphs that helps us to identify the right tagging. So this is about skills and expertise on ESG related matters. Gov 123A and B should be those two, right? So we can go to the level 1, level 2, check if we have any free level that we can use, level 1 plus, for instance, and just tag it here. And now we need to switch to another layer in order to tag the second tag as well on this paragraph. Okay. To leverage the knowledge of matters, the board established an ESG committee in 2023. This is 23A and B, and G1 Gov 15B and Gov 226C. So in fact, we could have extended our tags here. So let me just delete those again, and because we should have done it for the second paragraph as well. Let me reset it. Okay, this is fine now. Now let's check the Gov 226 C. So we go to Gov2, 26C, disclosure of list of material impact risks and opportunities addressed by administration management supervisory bodies. In this case, we need to go to another layer. Let's choose the default layer here. Maybe we even need to have another layer for this one. And the last item that they mentioned here is G1 Gov 15B. Let's check out what we have in G1 Gov 1 paragraph 5B, if there's any specific item. 5B, disclosure of expertise of administrative management supervisory bodies. We are missing a layer here, so I'm going to add one. Good. The next one is Gov 117. Gov 117, cleaning up a bit here. Gov 1, paragraph 17. Let's check out. I don't see a particular element for this paragraph 17. The first one is actually paragraph 19. So let's check out the ESRS itself. Gov 1, paragraph 17. The paragraph 17 in ES2 is actually about the phasing in provisions. This is a bit weird because I think this is probably a mistake. It's not actually paragraph 17. Let's read. In addition to the audit committee, oversees matter-related external reporting. So it's about material impact risk and opportunities. So the role of the members of the administrative and management supervisory bodies on IROs. So I think we do have one of the tags here as well. So probably they just put the wrong paragraph number here. Maybe it could be this one. So it's not so easy in this case, right? To actually choose the correct tag. I think my feeling says it could be this one, but I would actually skip it rather now in order to not set a wrong tag. Good, board evaluation seems to be good so far. Let me just check the incorporation by reference, what they have noticed here. They also said that they have 21A and B. We have tagged those already, and 23A to B. I think we have tagged those as well. So we should be fine. Continuing, let's go back to our page 62 where we stopped. This was on G1 actually, right? It was not on Gov1, but on G1. That was my mistake. So let's go back to G1 and actually check out if we can find any related item for G1 on this page. So we have G1 here, disclosure of policies. This is G11, right? With respect to business conduct matters. It's not actually very clear which tag they or which disclosure they make here. Let's check the index. So I'm looking at the index right now, which I have printed right next to me, but we can also check it, of course, on the screen. So this is Gov1, but we wanted to look for G1, right? This is G11. This is a EU, sorry, those are the EU data points. So this is G1 Gov1, 64 to 65, G1 Gov1. So it would indeed be the one that I just mentioned, 64 to 65. No, it's not so clear. Let's check out which pages they mention here. 64 to 65, that would be the first ESG governance model. And according to their index, this one would be G1 Gov1. So I'm just selecting the corresponding item from the XBRL taxonomy. Except that there isn't any. There is one, of course. Yeah, here it is. G1 Gov1, 64, 65. Okay, now we are going to tag the number materiality assessment according to ESRS 2. And they also identified entity-specific topics, obviously, Maersk material topics, and they have included 29 individual IROs. Climate change seems to be the key category. So this is an ESRS 2 SBM3 disclosure. By the way, the ESG strategy that we have seen on page 63 is potentially as well SBM3, because SBM3 is about strategy as well. And when I'm looking at their index, I think it makes sense to tag this one as well. So let's check out this one before we continue the double materiality assessment. So we have description of the impacts, description of the risk, and this is actually the level 1 tag related to the strategy itself. This is another one that we could tag here. So I would actually prefer now to stay a bit high level and only tag the level 1 of ESRS 3 here, ESRS 2, SBM 3, in order to be on the safe side. Yes, okay, yes, okay. Then we also have something here on the left side, which seems to be like a high-level overview. ESG core commitments. I think it actually relates to this disclosure, but not sure if we should actually include it in the tagging or not, since it's also more like a table or not so much like text that you would need to read. So I will skip this one for the moment. Good, let's go to SBM3. On the next page, they actually explain the topics, and they indicate with an impact icon here if it's impact, risk, and opportunity. So the dollar icon seems to be opportunity. The minus, I guess, is a risk. I think they must have an agenda somewhere here. Here, a negative impact, financial risk, and financial opportunity. This is how they differentiate their topics. Let's first tag also on page 66 the general level 1 tag for SBM3, and potentially we could even put the IRO 1. Let me check. Does it make sense? No, I don't think so. Let's only put the one on SBM3 here. For some reason, sometimes I have difficulties tagging the full text on a page. If this is the case, sometimes it helps to just make smaller snippets, of course, because right now it looks like this is not a good tag, right? Not a good tagging. So I would actually delete this one here and reset it. So and maybe let's make smaller snippets because it's more readable then. We should avoid excluding any tag, any text in the tag itself, even if it's a bit more work. Fine, 67. This is the list of topics, material sustainability matters they have identified. It's a bit interesting because they didn't really, it seems they just identified the topics as being the IROs, if I'm not mistaken, right? So what I would like to do now is I'm going to check the enumeration here with a number of items. As you can see here, it's just a high-level overview of those IROs identified or topics identified. That's why I think it doesn't make a lot of sense to actually differentiate each of them here. I would just use the enumeration that we got in the XBRL taxonomy to mark those items, because as far as I see, except maybe for data and AI ethics and the tags, we have a number of those as sustainability matters as well. So those indeed be entity specific, I guess. But this one, the governance one, seems to be rather topics in ESRS. Seems to be ESRS built-in topics. Anyway, those ones for sure. Responsible ship recycling. This is an entity-specific IRO, I guess, which is not a general topic in the ESRS. And let's just go back to the PDF for a second to check out, because they have such a link below that says description of impact, risk, and opportunity. So it actually jumps to another page, in this case to page 127. Yeah, so that actually means when they provide more detailed description here, it doesn't make sense to tag actually the overview, right? So I would like to go back to page 66 and 67, and not tag this at all, but rather tag the individual impact, risk, and opportunities that they have provided here. For instance, on page 77 is the one for the environmental, and it doesn't make sense to tag it here because it's just an overview table. So tagging IROs works like this. I have, of course, the name per IRO that I can put. For instance, here I can select that this is the climate change mitigation. So this would be the description of the material impacts resulting from the materiality assessment. And I put a type dimension name of the impact here, which is actually, sorry, that was not actually correct, because I now put it also the name of the impact, risk, and opportunity. That's not what I wanted to do. I just wanted to put this one and then the type dimension, which is up here. And I can put, this is IRO, or let's say, yeah, it's IRO number 1, right? And then we also see that there is a time horizon, and we have an information that this is own operation and value chain. And of course, the sustainability measures linked to this one. So first of all, let's take the sustainability measures. I go to the semi-narrative item, and I select that this is sustainability matters related to climate change. E1, climate change, and we have mitigation, right? This is climate change adoption, this is climate change mitigation, right? And we also put the type dimension on this specific one and put the same value as before, which was IRO number 1. Then we have information on value chain and own operation. Let's check if we have the information here somewhere. Description of where in the business model and own operation and upstream down the value chain are concentrated. So indeed here, this tax block tag, which we have in our XBRL taxonomy, is not ideal, right? It would be more ideal to have just an enumeration in this case, which would allow to just say own operation and value chain, because this is how they differentiate between the single IROs here. Nevertheless, it's what I got in the XBRL taxonomy, so I'm going to put this one here as well and put the type dimension as well in order to differentiate. Great, then they also provided the information that this is short term. This should be quite easy to tag. We can tag reasonable expected time horizons, but this is on financial effects. This is not what we want here. This is the reasonable expected time horizons of material impacts. I think this is what they have here, and we select short term. We can also provide the information that this is indeed an impact, negative impact. So we just select, I don't think it's possible to select the icon itself. So I just select the general text and put the negative impact here. Fine, okay. There might be a few more tags that you could apply here as well, but I think given that it's a very small text already, I wouldn't go further. But of course, if they provide more information in the narrative text here, I think it would work as well to tag that. However, I think it's fine just for the moment, so I will need to continue now with the other ones. So we have the description of the material risk and opportunities here, and this is our second IRO, right? This is IRO number 2. You would need to track actually what you have selected on the other items. This is own operation value chain. So no, we don't want to continue here. Here you need to be a bit careful, because the tool is actually asking if you would like to continue the other text block tag that we have started before. I'm selecting no, and instead I'm putting the type dimension here that this is our second IRO in order to differentiate it properly. No, don't want to continue. And this is medium term. So I'm going to select the time horizon to put medium and put a certain IRO type dimension on this one as well. And the last but not least, I think we put it that this is indeed a negative. No, it's an opportunity in this case, right? Let's check the agenda. It's a financial risk. The blue one is opportunity, and this one is a financial risk. To impact risk or opportunity. This is opportunity. In the XBRL taxonomy, we don't differentiate between financial opportunities and opportunities in general. So I'm just using this one and put the corresponding type dimension on it as well. So this IRO number 2. Good. Let's continue with the third one. This is our description of the material risk and opportunities or impact, right? So this would be actually the risk and opportunities, since this is an opportunity. Somehow the tool doesn't like my tagging here, which is a bit weird. Let's change the layer. Also doesn't like it. So maybe we just save and we open the tagging tool again. Maybe that helps sometimes. Seems to be one of my text block tagging was actually could not be restored. It is this one, disclosure of composition of administrative. So there seems to be a technical issue with this one. Maybe I can check this later. This is a handy clipboard manager which actually shows me which item caused trouble. So I can remember that one and tag it later. Let's go to our page 77. By the way, during the tagging of the, let me close the clipboard manager for a moment. During the tagging of the first IRO, I realized that we have probably chosen the wrong item from the list, because it shouldn't be the one on opportunities and risk, but the one on actual impacts, because those are actually differentiated in the XBRL taxonomy. So those are the impacts and those are the risk and opportunities. If I'm not mistaken, we have chosen the, oh no, we have chosen the right one. It's fine, it's fine. And here, yeah, it's also, seems to be fine as well. Check the other ones. Risk, this indeed would be a wrong one, right? So it would need to be this one instead of this one. I've just selected the wrong one for whatever reason. So you need attention while you do the tagging. It's very important. Let's now continue with the third IRO, which we haven't tagged yet.